We end with a speech by Cindy Sheehan, whose son Casey was killed in action in Iraq on April 4, 2004. This is a speech she delivered the next year in Dallas, Texas, at a convention of Veterans for Peace, before heading down to Crawford, Texas, to confront George Bush. Bush refused to meet with her, but Cindy Sheehan's actions helped galvanize anti-war and anti-occupation sentiment throughout the country.
I said to my son not to go. I said, you know it's wrong. You know you are going over there. You know your unit might have to kill innocent people. You know you might die. And he says, my buddies are going. If I don't go, my buddies will be in danger. 30 of our bravest young men have already died this month. And it's only the 5th of August. And the tragedy of the Marines in Ohio is awful. But do you think George Bush will interrupt his vacation to go visit the family of the 20 Marines that have died in Ohio this week? No, because he doesn't care. He doesn't have a heart. That's not enough to stop his little playing cowboy game in Crawford for 5 weeks. So you can imagine, every day, the grieving parents that have lost. I don't like to use that word. The parents whose child was murdered. It's extremely difficult. You can't even get a small scab on our wound because every day it is ripped open. So anyways, when that filth spewer and warmonger George Bush was speaking after the tragedy of the Marines in Ohio, he said a couple of things that outraged me, seriously outraged me. George Bush was talking, and he never mentioned the terrible incident of those Marines. But he did say that the families of the ones who have been killed can rest assured that their loved ones died for a noble cause. He also said, he says this often, this really drives me crazy. He said that we have to stay in Iraq and complete the mission to honor the sacrifices of the ones who have fallen. And I say, why should I want one more mother to go through what I've gone through because my son is dead? You know what? The only way he can honor my son's sacrifice is to bring the rest of our troops home. To make my son's death count for peace and love, not war and hatred like Bush stands for. I don't want him using my son's death or my family's sacrifice to continue the killing. I don't want him to exploit the honor of my son and others to continue the killing. And I just had this brainstorm. I'm going to Crawford. I don't know where Crawford is, but I don't care. I'm going. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to tell them, you get that evil maniac out here, because a gold star mother, someone whose son's blood is on his hands, has questions for him. And I'm going to say, okay, listen here, George. Number one, I demand every time you spew that filth that you're continuing the killing in Iraq to honor my son's sacrifice, honoring the fallen heroes by continuing the mission, you say, except Casey Sheehan. You do not have permission to use my son's name. And I'm going to say, you tell me what the noble cause is that my son died for. And if he even starts to say freedom and democracy, I'm going to say bullshit. You tell me the truth. You tell me that my son died for oil. You tell me that my son died to make your friends rich. You tell me my son died so you can spread the cancer of Pax Americana imperialism in the Middle East. You get America out of Iraq, you get Israel out of Palestine, and you'll stop the terrorism. And if you think I won't say bullshit to the president, then you're wrong, because I'll say what's on my mind. So anyways, I'm going to Crawford tomorrow. And I'm going to say, get George here. And if they say, no, he's not coming out, then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put my tent here, and I'm staying until he comes and talks to me. Another thing that I'm doing, my son was killed in 2004. So I'm not paying my taxes for 2004. And I tell everybody that. And if they send me a letter from the IRS, I'm going to say, you killed my son for this. I don't owe you anything. I live in Vacaville, California. If you can find me there, come and get me and put me on trial. It's up to us as moral people to break immoral laws and resist. As soon as the leaders of a country lie to you, they have no authority over you. These maniacs have no authority over us. And they might be able to put our bodies in prison, but they cannot put our spirits in prison. When I was growing up, it was communists. Now it's terrorists. You always have to have somebody that's our enemy to be afraid of, so the war machines can build more bombs and guns and bullets and everything. But I see hope. I see hope in this country. 58% of the American public are with us. We're preaching to the choir, but not everybody in the choir is singing. And if all 58% started singing, this war would end.